Hierarchies are the single most important thing when it comes to rigging in 3D. I'm really not joking about this. Without a hierarchy and without a good hierarchical structure, your rig will be sloppy, messy, it will break, it won't work. Crazy things will happen if you've done it the wrong way. I know from experience because I've done it the wrong way a lot of times. But hey, we don't learn anything without failing, so it's a good thing. At least one of us failed at this, so you guys can jump in and get this right straight away. So hierarchies in 3ds Max are really easy to make. So let me just go in and create some boxes. Coming across the create tab, down to standard primitives, and I'm just going to create a box here. I'm just clicking out and dragging, no big deal. So let me create about 5 boxes so they all look the same. And that's it. That's my boxes created. And these guys sit in their own hierarchies. They are the root level. They're the very, very top. So when we talk about parent and child relationships, they are the parent, they are the child, they are the world leader of their own little world. They're not affecting each other. So if I grab this guy and I use the select and move tool and I move him around, he's not affecting anyone else. He affects himself and that's it. Likewise, this guy and this one, every single one of these guys, they just affect themselves. And the way that we can get them to affect each other is to put them inside of a hierarchy. Now, to do this, we can come across to the select and link tool up here. If we click on this, with one of these guys selected or with not, doesn't matter, click and drag on one. So if we click and hold down with our left mouse button, you can see this dotted line that appears. And this is going to link this selected one to something else. It's going to link it in a hierarchy. So I'm going to link this one to here. And what you do is you just click left mouse button, click, drag it across and let go. And then link this one up to here, this one up to here, and this one up to here. Now, what's happened here is we've created a hierarchy. We've created parent and child hierarchy with one of these boxes being the root. And the root of everything is this guy here. So let me work up the chain and show you what I mean. Let me go back up here. We're going to use the select and move tool. And with this guy selected at the very bottom, he is the child of everything. So he's way down the list. And if we move him or we manipulate him in any way, he doesn't do anything but manipulate himself. If we move then one up to this guy, you can see that this one comes along because this is the parent of this one. And I clicked this just before. You can see that moving this one moves both of these because this is a parent, this is a child, this is also a child of this guy, but it is kind of two down the stream. And likewise, we then move up to here. And then if we move up to the top, which is the root, because this guy controls everything, we click and drag this around, you can see that moving. Now, we're not able to visually see this connection, at least not in the viewport. So if we come up to the top here, let me just scrub this along a bit so that's easier for you guys to see. And I come up and you can see this button here. It's called the schematic view. Let me click on this to open it. We get this little display pop out. I'm just going to close that down because I don't need it for now. And then I'm just going to pull this out so you guys can see a little bit more. And you can see we have these objects already and they have some links to them, but we're currently in this reference mode up here, and the button next to it is hierarchy mode. So if I click on that, you can see now that these are in a hierarchy, with box 5 way down at the bottom and box 1 being at the top. This is what we call the root. This guy controls everything else. This is the root of this hierarchy chain. This is a parent, this is a parent, and this is a parent. This is a child. This one is also a child, but it's a child of box 3. Box 5 is a child of box 4, and so on and so forth. And this is how these links work together. So let me just scooch this along a little bit so that we can see everything. And I grab this guy, and you can see he's going to affect box 4 and 5, which he does. And even if we start rotating these, box 4 will affect box 5. Box 3 will affect box 4 and 5. And likewise with this guy up here, box 2 is going to affect 3, 4, and 5. And the root of this hierarchy is going to be box 1. So if I just click there and rotate this around, you can see. Now, this guy is the root, which means that he controls everything, but he only controls everything in this hierarchy. So if we were to create some spheres, and we create another 5 spheres, you can see that these guys are all roots of their own, but let's link these up. So using the select and link tool, let me scrub this back over. We come up to the select and link tool, and we start clicking and dragging and letting go, and we come all the way up. We've now created another hierarchy chain with this guy here. Let me just go to the move. He is now the root of all of the spheres, and so on and so forth down that chain. It's exactly the same as the boxes. It's just a different one. If we then, let's for instance take a cylinder and put this in the middle, and I link, actually, let's do it in here because we could do it in here as well. So this tool here is the connect. It's actually just a select and link tool. If you want to unlink something, we can click this one, and likewise up on the top main toolbar, we have unlink selection. So actually, let me demonstrate that to you. If I grab box 3, which is this guy, and I unlink it, you see it jumps across. It becomes the root of these two, but these guys no longer affected. So that's how we unlink something. And again, we can link it back in. So let me do it in here this time. So I'm just going to click on this one, click and drag across. You can see the dotted line appears again. Click that in. Now we have a hierarchy, which is great. So let me select both of these, and then I'm going to quickly use this select or this connect, and I'm going to click. Oh, let me just select those again. Click and drag. If I can actually click these things. Okay, cool. So I can click and drag. I have these dotted lines. I'm going to put them to this cylinder, which is this guy over here, but I'm just doing it inside of the schematic view. And now you can see that in here, this guy is the root of both of these chains. So if I grab it, it's going to move it along. If I rotate it, it's going to change everything. The boxes, again, just stay inside, and they're in their own hierarchy, so they only affect themselves. And likewise with the spheres, they only affect themselves. But this is truly the basics of rigging. And a good rig will have an excellent hierarchy that all of these kind of parent-child relationships will affect that rig in a certain way that the rigger has really thought about how they want all of this to be manipulated and how it changes the geometry that's skinned to it or attached to it in some way. This is the core concept of rigging.